What up, y'all? It's your man, Abuamerican. Let me tweet that this is going live. In the meantime, let me play the theme song for this video. Hit the road, Jack, and don't you come back no more. What you say? Oh, we're gonna get live on this one. No more, no more, no more. Hit the road, Jack. What you say? And don't you come back no more. No. I'm tripping. I think we should let the song go to the end. It's not a long song. That's classic, baby. Ah, you know what? All right. Now we got that out of the way. What up, y'all? It's your man, Abuamerican. So, as the title says, Murphy's Law. And we're talking about Jack Murphy here. Let there be no doubt, no question who and what we're talking about right now. We are talking about Jack Murphy. Now, a little while ago, I decided I was going to coin a new phrase called the red pill rot. And anybody who's in the Twitter sphere knows that I've decided to like back away from the manosphere in general. Not the manosphere, excuse me, but the red pill world because of red pill rot. And, the thing is this. It would appear outwardly that the longer a person stays in the red pill world, the more they seem to lose their ethics, virtues, values, morals, dignity. And these are things that, for me as a Muslim, they're like, they can't be compromised. And anything that's going to compromise that, it has to be abandoned. This is just Muslims. Now, going into the Muslim stand, we're going to get this early on out of the way. One of the worst sins that a person can commit after shirk, this is just a little quick lesson, is being a dayuth. Now, what is a dayuth? A dayuth is actually the Arabic term for a cuckold. And there is a hadith, a prophetic tradition, a saying of the Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, that the dayuth, the cuckold, will never smell the fragrance of paradise. And they said, and if you were to stand a distance that would take you 70 years to get to it, you would smell the fragrance of paradise. So, yeah. But anyway, prior to Islam, man, we used to clown dudes like this. It's like, this was stuff that we didn't do before I was Muslim. So, for me, in general, I find the idea of being a cuckold problematic. But let us get into this video. Let me start off with a disclaimer. I don't have anything against the guy Jack. I don't have anything against Mr. Murphy, personally. I don't know the guy. I actually followed him on Twitter for a while until this came out. And when this whole thing about him being an active cook, and in case you don't know the situation because you're not on Twitter, uh, he got into it with some guy apparently, or some guy doesn't like him, and he dug up some of Jack's old video, sorry, not videos, articles that he wrote about being an active cuckold, where he was sending his girl out to go get smashed by dudes in hotel rooms while he stayed at home writing about it. And they found stuff on Reddit, I believe it was, where he was talking about he pimped his girl out for cash. Other guys started coming out with other information, like they met him at a convention and he had like his fingernails painted black, and the dude's got some stuff going on. And hey, you know what, to each his own, man. I'm Muslim. I keep low expectations of non-Muslims, and I don't mean that in an insulting way, but the reality is that Muslims have a very high standard of behavior that's expected of people in general, and myself included. And a lot of times, because of my eccentric nature and personality, I fall outside of that, and people come at me over that stuff. And sometimes justifiably, sometimes not. Sometimes just what I say and how I say it rubs them wrong, and then they want to try and throw it under the guise and the window of Islamic adab, of manners. Adab is manners, because we have very high standards of manners, and they're saying, and they might be right in that, and sometimes they are, but, it is what it is. So anyway, the guy used to send his girl out to get smashed. And again, I don't have anything personal against this guy. But for some reason, don't ask me why, you can fault it as like a personal character trait, fault of mine. I take these like Twitter blocks personally, man. Because I'm not rude to anybody. I'm generally not rude to anybody. I'll make some off comments here and there, I never really come at somebody directly unless you like start crapping on Islam or me directly. You do those two things, of course I'm going to come at you. But because I have a strong proclivity towards Islam, and I have my own sense of dignity and pride that I don't like people to try and tread on. But if you block me for some reason, I don't know what it is, man. I take that personal, and it's like all bets are off, man. All of that amicable, nice, respectful back and forth is gone. I'm gonna have to come at you, man. I'm gonna have to come at you. If I know something, it's out there. Not everybody. There's guys out there that I respect that, but I'm gonna constantly disagree with. There's gonna be people I disagree with, and I'm going to generally avoid conflict with them just because of respect, because that's old school. Like Rollo Tomasi, I got the ultimate respect for the guy. When I was going through my whole thing, his books and his works were there for me, and so that was a heavy thing, man, because I didn't know what the heck was going on. I knew something was wrong. I had it like mostly right, but those parts that I got wrong in a big way. So his work being there for me was like a major thing, that this guy took the time to write what was obviously a monumental and difficult work, which of course comes from his tweets and whatnot from years, and he compiled it all into a book. Man, I was like, just like, yo, mwah. It was the timing was perfect. Him and Coach Corey Wayne. I don't follow Corey Wayne anymore. He's got goofy ideas about Islam and Muslims also, but whatever. Their works were there when I knew something was wrong, but I didn't know what, and it gave me the guidance I needed to get, back to my center point as a man and as an individual. Nevertheless, those blocks, man, I take that stuff personal. Now, I never directly tweeted Jack. Jack Murphy, he picked a path and he picked a route that I couldn't respect. And he started just blocking the internet. He started blocking Twitter. He's going to end up blocking 80% of Twitter. And so I wrote a tweet, and it was indirect. It wasn't a direct at him. And he'd have probably never known, because I'm sure the guy doesn't follow me. And I said, it's probably easier to, just delete Twitter and start over new instead of trying to block all of Twitter. And one of my homies who don't have the same demeanor as me, as I do, I got savages on my Twitter, man. I got homies that are just straight beasts and savages. He retweeted and he tagged Jack. And then Jack blocked me because of what my homie did. This happened to me before with Chris Johnson. I had a bad experience with his whole thing. And it wasn't really massively bad. I got my money back, I got a refund. But one of my homies kept on tagging me in tweets aimed at him and his people. I just got savages as homies. You just got to understand that. I'm the nice, calm, relaxed guy until I'm not anymore. This is just an explanation of why this video exists. So anyway, one of my savage homies, tagged Jack. And, Jack blocked me, man. That's it. All bets off, man. You blocked me, dude. I ain't, the worst I did was unfollow you, homie. That's the worst I did. I'm like, oh. Back away from that one, because I can't be associated with a cuckold. The dude is a walking credibility nightmare. And now we got dudes circling the wagon and drawing lines in the sand over a cuckold. And I'm not sure how you're going to maintain your credibility by doing that with this specific individual. Now, what dudes do with their homies, that's their business. I'm not trying to dictate or tell anybody you got to throw your homie under the bus and this, that, the other. No, but the reality is you got to understand how much of a nightmare this guy is in terms of credibility. The guy is he's a hot mess. And of all of the hills to die on or battle on or fight on, that this guy is one of them, I can't understand it. I can't comprehend it. I had a homie, he was into that whole cuckold and stuff, man. I had to cut him loose, man. When my numbers changed, I didn't give it to him. I don't want to deal with dudes like this. This dude, yeah. I had love for this man. But you know what? Ain't nothing gonna save him from that situation. I can't be associated with that. So anyway, how is Jack Murphy a walking credibility nightmare to those associated with him? Well, first and foremost, single mothers. You know, one of the biggest talking points in the red pill world, in the manosphere, is being retroactively or passively cooked by marrying or dating a single mother. You're being retroactively cuckolded. That's what they're saying. Well, here you have a guy who in the past, retroactive, was an active cuckold. He was active in his own cuckolding. He was like saying, girl, go out and get that 18-inch schlong. I don't know if that's what he said. I'm just making that up, hyperbole. But anyway, he's out there sending this girl out to get smashed by dudes. And he's active, gleeful in his cuckolding. And if you read the article, he's like, I'm perfectly happy being home and alone while my girl is in a hotel taking it in every orifice except for maybe her eye sockets. I mean, who does that, man? And now you're going to talk about single mothers and dudes dating and marrying single mothers. How? Explain to me how. You got a guy who in the past was active, retroactively cuckolding himself. Now guys are retroactively being cuckolded by single mothers. And you can say, well, his was in the past, this is now. Yeah, well, the thing with his cuckolding being in the past, he's still together with that girl. He's still together with that woman. So what's the difference? It's walking, talking, blatant hypocrisy and an outright contradiction. So that's the first point. The second point, epiphany phase women. Now, this is in my tweets. If you read my tweets, my pinned tweet, this is all there. Epiphany phase women. What's an epiphany phase woman? An epiphany phase woman is a woman who, she rode the carousel, went out, rode 120 Chadcocks, and then at the end of it, when she, can no longer command the attention that she used to because the wall is creeping up on her and she's losing her youth and beauty, or a new generation of carousel riders is coming along, younger and hotter, and she can no longer compete because they're all competing for the same guys, 80-20 rule. So she now decides that, you know what, I'm done riding the carousel. I found myself in God, and I'm gonna, expect my next partner to forgive my past sexual indiscretions. Take me for who I am right now. Forgive my past. Tell me, and this is one of the talking points of his homies, that he isn't the same guy he used to be anymore. People change. How do you now talk about, make videos about, write articles about, write tweets about epiphany phase women when your homeboy is technically a epiphany phase man? Now you're going to share a stage with this guy. You're going to bring him up, talk about single mothers, epiphany phase women, carousel riders. Boom. Awesome speech. Step off the stage, epiphany phase man comes on right behind you. Tell me that's not a problem. Tell me that's not a problem. Tell me that is not a problem. Look, that's their man. I get it. That's your man. But that's your man. Oh, man, I didn't see your message, man. You gotta excuse me. I look at the messages over here. I don't see what pops up on my phone. Number 3, masculinity. So now we got the red pill world teaching men about masculinity, how to be masculine men, how to make themselves their center point, their starting point in their lives, coming back to the natural state of men, which is masculinity. Just letting that testosterone flow and being that guy you're supposed to be. Not mocking it, totally respectable. But let me ask you something. How is this guy teaching and talking on matters of masculinity when he picked in the past the most beta R-selected reproductive strategy that a man can ever pick? It is a strategy of absolute sexual desperation. What is his experience in teaching men masculinity? What has he done other than cuckold himself that he now can teach men about masculinity, other than maybe this is what you should not do in order to be a masculine man? Did I say that right? You shouldn't do this if you want to be a masculine man. Yeah, you shouldn't do this. You shouldn't follow these steps. Don't be a cuckold if you want to be a masculine man. What's his authority? Upon what? What? Someone else's work? Because he's obviously not about that life, as they say. He's obviously not about that life. He didn't live it. He lived a life of a cuckold. So what is he teaching men about masculinity based upon? What's the foundation based upon? Books and people's works? Where is it coming from? Credibility nightmare. This man said, Usman Saber asks if anybody, from his homies have talked to him about, this whole past history shenanigans. I don't know. I'm getting the impression a lot of these dudes know about it and knew about it. And they gave him a pass. They decided to give him a pass. Whatever. I don't know. Anyway, point number 3 about masculinity. I don't see how he's an authority on masculinity when he's taken the most non-masculine reproductive relationship route that a man can take. What's his authority? Where's his authority? What is he teaching? How can he teach something? I mean, in that particular case, let's give everybody just a platform to speak after they've read Rollo's books, or they've read some books on game, or they've hung out with a bunch of dudes who have written books or articles on game or are PUAs. That's his authority? Being around dudes that are teaching masculinity? Because obviously, again, like I said before, he is not about that life. He didn't live it. We see it in his writings from the past that the internet will not forget nor forgive. Someone help me understand that one. Number 4, coming into number 3, he's still with that girl. He is still with the woman that he used to send out to get cuckolded with. Apparently, he has children with her. This goes into the single mother's part. It's like, okay, there was a discussion on Twitter. I can't remember who I was talking to, but he said basically it was said that he got a paternity test done and they turned out to be his kids. And so it's all good. No, that makes it worse. Is it worse that it's his kids? No, that's not what makes it worse. What makes it worse is like, it was like a Hail Mary pass. Yes, they're my kids. Yes. Thank God, oh God, they're my kids. Yes, thank you. Why would you need to go get a paternity test? Why do you, what? What? I got a kid with Ling Ling. Ain't no doubt or question, that's my kid. First off, there ain't no black people running around here in my area. I'm the only one. And that's a little black kid. That's a little black kid. I call him Super Asian Baby. He got some Super Asian eyes. I call him Super Asian Baby. Unless there's a black Asian running around here I gotta worry about, but I ain't seen that nigga anywhere, so I'm looking for that nigga if he's out there. That's my kid. There's no like, oh my God, thank God that's my kid. I ain't gotta go do a paternity test. He's still with the girl he used to actively be cuckolded by, or he used to actively send out to cuckold himself. What the hell is that? Excuse me, I'm getting animated here, but this is just mind-boggling, mind-boggling. I'm trying to make up a word here. It's mind-boggling. It's vexing to the head, and I just don't get it. Muawiyah says, my brother Hodges, he says, good point, number 4. And what's his connection to the manosphere when one's connection to the sphere as individual search for his own masculinity? Exactly. For point number 4, going back to the point number 4, point number 3 about masculinity. How's he going to teach a newcomer anything? What are you going to teach him? But anyway, he's still with that girl. Sorry. Point number 4, he's still with that girl that he was actively cuckolded with. How can you say that's part of your past when you're still actively with that woman? When we go back into talking about retroactive cuckolding by marrying and being with single mothers, this guy is still with the woman that in the past he was cuckolding. She wasn't cuckolding him, he was cuckolding himself. It's so freaking maddening, mind-bogglingly crazy. He's still with her. There is no retroactive here. So you can't make these comparisons and throw guys under the bus for single mothers when your homeboy out here is happy and he got lucky that his kids are his, and he's still with the woman that he used to send out and get himself cuckolded by. It's just madness. It's just madness. Now he's going to come up on stage and start talking about masculinity to a bunch of dudes? After the previous speakers done threw all that stuff under the bus that he's guilty of. Credibility nightmare. Number 5. His friends. Before we get into friends, let me check out one of these comments here. Osman says, this situation only shows that Muslims need to be very careful about dealing with the manosphere. There's definitely good ideas floating around in that part of the internet. However, we need to be aware. Yeah, I'm going to get into that later on, Osman. I talked about that earlier in the video. I backed away from the red pill world because, like I said, I coined this new saying called red pill rot. I'm going to get into that, later on after I drop this final point here. And the final point that I have, number 5, is his homies. Now look, I understand people back their homies, but here's the thing. They're circling the wagon and they're knuckling down and drawing lines in the sand. I don't know if they're drawing lines in the sand, but basically they have made, it's pretty clear at this point they're gonna back that dude. That's pretty clear. They're like, what's the word? They're hunkering down for the long battle and with this guy and his cuckoldry. Fine. You stick to your own. You don't throw your homies to the wolves. Can respect that. But what I can't respect is that this point, in terms of his homies, goes back to my point about masculinity. Why are you fighting his battles? What can he teach a man about masculinity if he's blocking everybody on freaking Twitter that he can? He's going to end up blocking 80% of Twitter, and you can't fight your own battles. You got to really send your homies to fight your battles. You know what happens if someone comes at me? I go out and face him head on. Right, wrong, indifferent, whatever else. It's like, you know what? I done dropped a major turd. I dropped a crap bomb. It's in Ramadan, I'm fasting, I'm not trying to cuss. But I dropped the S-bomb. I dropped a serious turd. Sometimes you got to pick that sucker up, and like they said in The Walking Dead, sometimes you just got to bite, chew, and you got to swallow. Don't go looking at that thing. Bite, chew, and swallow, son. Sometimes you got to eat. Sometimes you got to eat crap. This is the moment when you got to eat crap. This is part of masculinity. You got to own your crap. You got to own your... And what did he do? He's cutting and running like a girl. Block, 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 block. And then his homies coming to his aid and his rescue like white knights. These dudes, do you not see how you are contradicting everything that you teach? You're talking about white knights in the manosphere sticking up for women. But now, right now, your homeboy, the epiphany phase man, is being stuck up for by a bunch of men. He's not fighting his own battles. This is what white knights do for women. Where's his masculinity? How is he going to teach masculinity? What is he teaching masculinity upon? He can't fight his own battles. He's got white knights coming to his rescue. It's a bad look, guys. It's a bad look, man. And I ain't crapping on you guys. I got a lot of respect for Rollo and his crew. Them dudes put some stuff together with the 21 Convention. It's really an amazing thing. that they've managed to build something so big off of like the red pill world, especially that it gets such bad flack and bad heat. It's an amazing thing. But dude, seriously, you don't got to throw your homeboy under the bus, but he's a freaking nightmare. You are becoming everything that you speak against for this guy. Why? The money must be good. It must be real good. The money must be good. He must be making it rain for you guys, man. Because I don't understand it, man. I really don't understand it. I mean, I smelled a week ago or so that something was off. I didn't know it was this. No connection. I didn't have some sort of, what's the word? Transcendent, ESP freaking moment where I like saw the future and that this was going to happen. But I could just smell, I could just feel the pulse of the red pill world that something was wrong. I didn't know it was this bad. I didn't know it was this bad. I mean, that's just, whew, guys, come on, seriously. Let me check out some of these things right here. Brother Hodge said, if dyed hair and tattoos are a sign of BDP in women, then nail polish on men must be a sign of cuckoldry in men. MashaAllah. Abu Yusuf Abuamerican. Assalamu alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. They are white knights. Yeah, Brother Hodges said dudes sticking up for Murphy are the white knights. Mind blowing. But it's really, really, if you think about it, tell me it's not. It's not. I mean, think about it. A man does what? A man stands up, he owns his stuff, and he fights his own battles. Why is he not fighting his own battles? I made a video about women blocking men, and you can go and find that video still. It's here on my channel, where I talk about why women block men. And what's this guy doing? He's displaying a female attribute of blocking guys left and right because of his own screw up. And then not only that, now he's got dudes coming to his rescue, riding in on their white horses and shields and their capes waving, like, save Jack! Like he's some damsel in distress. Guys, it's a bad look. I'm just telling you it's a credibility nightmare. I'm not saying you got to disavow that guy or disown him or throw him under a bus, but understand that if this guy is the battle you're going to pick, it's a bad look. We have loyalty and disavowment as part of our religion in Islam. We are loyal and avowed to the Muslims, and we disavow ourselves to the non-Muslims. That doesn't mean we can't be, friendly with them and whatnot and interact with them. That's not what it means. Doesn't mean jihad against them, you're going to kill them dead. That's not what it means. But look, I had a Muslim dude tell me he was a cuckold, and I known this guy for about 2 years. And you know what I did? Despite all the love I had for him, I cut him off. That dude ain't got my new number. I got like 4 new numbers because I got like 4 new phones. And he ain't got none of them numbers. Not one of them. And if anybody gives him my number, we going to have a problem. Loyalty and disavowment, you know what? And I ain't dealing with cats that are on that level of just debauchery and corruption. It goes against, it's not even, look, you ain't even got to be Muslim. This just goes against your natural biological, like, fitra. What's fitra in English? Like your natural state. Like just your natural biological state. It brings out a natural just revulsion in my heart that I can't even explain. Utter disgust. Look, I was with Becky for 4 years. Becky always had a problem with like always having some random dudes in the cut. I gave her a lot of passes because she had potential. But towards the end of the relationship, she just started gathering up a bunch of freaking beta orbiters. I fired Becky over beta orbiters and like, I fired her over it. Fired. 4 years gone over beta orbiters. You actually sending your girl out to get banged? To me, this is incomprehensible. Brother Hodges asked, do you really think this will affect the followers of all these bozos? Probably not. because these dudes are following personalities at this point. They, you know, let's be real, man. Dudes are following personalities at this point. I mean, I ain't crapping on Rolo, but I'm gonna bring him up here. He even says it himself. The red pill is a praxeology. It is not an ideology. He's basically covered the bases. It's not an ideology. So you can basically do anything you want since it's not an ideology. You can do and say anything you want. Hey, you know what? It's okay to let your girl put on a dildo and peg you. You know, bang you in your butthole as a man. Because red pill is a praxeology, not an ideology. So anything goes, really. Dudes are following personalities. Dudes are not following an ideology. And that's the problem. Red pill has to a degree, have some sort of ideological aspects to it. There has to be a foundation of, look, you can't be doing this particular stuff. If not, then then what is it? It's absolutely nothing. It's just whatever you decide to make up. You know what it is? It's going back to what I said. It's basically female behavior just billed as male behavior. It's rationalizations. It's the hamster wheel. I can just make up anything because I feel like it. Tell me that's not women. That's the rationalization. That's the hamster wheel. Now we're basically rationalizing and hamster wheeling what red pill is and what it isn't. Because dudes are more interested in following personalities than they are a particular truth or ideology that might hold you to account. And that's what's happening now. Guys don't like the fact that dudes are holding Jack accountable to his ideologies that he espoused. Well, now we can roll everything back and say it's a praxeology, not an ideology. So really, it's nothing. It's just whatever you want it to be. And if that's the case, well, then it's really nothing. Dudes are literally going to make the red pill world fold in on itself and eat itself. And I don't know why I smelled it last week. I say it all the time, and I don't mean it as like I said, self-debasement or whatever else. I don't consider myself to be an overly smart guy. Sometimes something clicks in the back of my head, and I'm not sure why. There was some sort of connection at some point where it's like something clicked, and in the back of my head, I was just like, you know what? Something's wrong with the red pill. I gotta back away. And more I think about this situation with this guy, the more and more I'm gonna have to think like, you know what? Whatever it was that clicked, it was pretty good. And it's just becoming more and more clear as time goes by. Brother Hodges says, so do we and others that see their hypocrisy separate what they have become? I'm not really sure I understand what you mean. In terms of the red pill world, they have some very valid points. They have some very good information, and I'm going to have to admit that, I'm not going to stop taking from a lot of these dudes. They have good stuff. Donovan Sharp's got some good stuff, Rollo Tomasi has excellent, outstanding stuff. Even though I bring him up a lot in here, I by no means am I crapping on the dude. He kind of took shots at me today because I made a passive post about Jack, and he was like, we know who you're talking about. And I was like, yeah, everybody knows I'm talking about Jack, But he's made it clear he stands on the side of Jack with that post, he's backing Jack. Fine, let him back Jack. Rollo can get away with a lot in my book. He's got his reasons. His work, like I said, is monumental and was there for me when I needed it. The guy gets a lot of respect. His knowledge is incomparable to anybody in the red pill world. I'm never going to disrespect the guy. I disagree with his stance entirely, and hopefully, if this escalates, it probably won't because I'm not a big name in the red pill world. But if it does escalate, hopefully he doesn't block me. I really appreciate his posts and the knowledge that he drops in terms of red pill knowledge. So let me just put that out there. But, in terms of actually saying I'm red pill at this point, I got to drop that, or I got red pill, whatever else. I can't be connected to that whatsoever anymore. The guys, the more deeper we get into red pill and the longer it's becoming in terms of like a praxeology and an ideology, because it is both, it's clear that there's quite a large amount of corruption in the red pill world. And so I can't be connected to that as a Muslim. I have my struggles, I have my battles as a Muslim, and this isn't going to be one of them. I'm gonna face a law with like association or connection to problems and troubles, this isn't gonna be one of them. Brother Hodges, would you advise newcomers to the red pill to benefit from these bozos now? I'd say read Rollo's books, and that's about it. The rest, I'd tell them to stay away from. You got guys in that crew talking about how it's okay to bang people's wives, and they've made that a battle line also. And I can only think that they're circling the wagon around Jack because maybe they were banging their wives. This is speculation. Jack's girl, she's not a bad-looking woman. Maybe these guys are banging his woman. Or maybe they used to, and that's why they're circling the wagons around him. This is speculation. It's not an accusation. But it doesn't make sense, especially given the position and stances they've taken on all these topics that I brought up here before and how he overlaps into them. I can't explain it. It's either good money or good hoo-ha. So I would say read Rollo's books, buy his material, support his works in general. But after that, man, I can't really advise anyone, be you Muslim or not, to spend a lot of time taking knowledge from these guys, because eventually some type of corruption is gonna like overflow onto you, and it's gonna mess you up. Look at Tate Andrews. Andrew Tate, the guy, everybody dislikes him because he's deep into cam girls and all this stuff. But when you listen to the guy, he's clear that he's not gonna cook himself out. He's pro family. So, like, when he decides to settle down, he's going to have a woman and a wife and a family and children, despite how he makes his money. The guy has, like, raw, basic masculinity about himself. Now, you guys know I got love for Tate, so I'm not, like, trying to say, hey, he's the man to take from and these guys aren't or whatever else. But what I'm saying is, it's like, you see real and you see fake. And now there's this separation, what's the word? Stratification that's taking place in the world in terms of the red pill world. And this goes back into my other video that me and Moawi were talking about a while back, is that the red pill world is going to eat itself and it's going to break up into tribes and groups that are affiliated based upon like particular ideologies, not praxeologies. It's going to break apart on ideologies, not praxeologies. So, no, I would generally say, guys, avoid them. Read their books in terms of Rollo, and try your best to understand that knowledge, without messing with these guys. Because the longer you stay involved with them, the longer you're going to end up with some sort of like damage in terms of corruption, in terms of yourself, your morals, your ethics, virtues, values, dignity. It's going to get lost. There's no way it can't. It's impossible. Birds of a feather flock together. Loyalty and disavowalment are based upon idea and ideologies, not praxeology. And I'm not having to go at Rollo with this ideology, praxeology thing, but I disagree with him on this particular point. People do not unite upon praxeology, they unite upon ideology. Brother Hodges says, keep it real. The Rollo now is not the same Rollo who wrote The Rational Male. That could be. It could be. But I'm not going to get into that. Like I said, I don't really have a relationship with him, in terms of like a personal relationship. But I would like to keep things amicable with him, because at times there are things which I will not understand, and I need somebody who has superior knowledge in terms of human behaviors that I can turn back to. So I would like to keep an amicable relationship with the guy. I'm not going to crap on him. The guy is a monument in terms of, red pill knowledge and understanding. So, but I do disagree with him on some particular points. And I do find, in my humble opinion, that he's mature enough to accept a disagreement without it having to get ugly and like, I'm going to block you. You Hodges, man, you get blocked is a superpower for you, bro. This superpower getting me blocked. Yeah. What time is it? It's 8:33. I ain't got much time here. This is gonna be like just under an hour video, because we're gonna be breaking it fast here. It's Ramadan, I'm fasting, so we're gonna be breaking it fast here. So I'm gonna have to like eat and do all my things. That's it. That's all I got for right now. But I says, yeah, I agree. I wanted to pigeonhole you, but as a military man, you dodged it. Hey man, I gotta do what I gotta do, man. Whatever else. In terms of the manosphere, man, I don't know, man. I don't know. I guess I gotta up my game. Some people on the backside of the game been getting on me about upping my game and doing more. And probably after Ramadan, I'm gonna have to do that. I'm gonna have to It's very. I'm not gonna lie. I'm not trying to make excuses for myself, but during Ramadan, I'm finding it very difficult to like focus. I don't know why. I'm like super lethargic this Ramadan. This is the first time I ever felt like this. I feel drained. I feel weak. You know. And I just I'm sleeping a lot. It's just not. It's not really me. It's not the way I generally am. What you talking about in there, Ling Ling? Hey, man. So anyway, I need to. Wait a minute. Hold up, man. I'm gonna. Ooh. See, I'm gonna have to go bully this girl in a minute. Yeah, you see, you hear her laugh. You see, she knows what's up. So anyway, so after Ramadan, I'm gonna have to get back on my game, and I had to step it up for the Muslims out there who need a source to take from. That's not gonna like send you or advise you to take like steps or actions which are counter to your Islamic ethos and ideology, both in ideology and praxeology. Anybody got any questions? I'm gonna leave it open now for questions, comments, whatever else. Disagreements, this is the time to do it. If you want to fight, let's fight it out right now. Hit me up. Let's drop it. Because this is a speak now, forever hold your peace type situation. I do not want to hear anything on my Twitter. I don't want to hear about you blocking me. I don't want to see about, dropping passive aggressive comments after this point. I'm giving you the opportunity, real time. Let's have at it. Let's go. Let's do this. Jack ain't gonna show up and fight his own battles. He's taking the bitch route and blocking everybody. So if any of his homies are out there, tag them, tell them come here and defend a boy. This is the time to do it. This is the time and the place to white knight. I ain't dealing with white knights after this point. I'm just gonna call you out. I'm gonna refer you to this video. I'm just gonna send you a link. What's up? Well, that was easy. Jeez. Well, that was easy. Dang. Well, I don't really have anything else. And nobody's dropping questions, comments, whatever else. So I guess that's basically the end of this. 42 minutes. I'm going to go into about like 45 minutes. Call this a day. Well, then let me just go ahead and drop this. Guys, Ronan Khan, I agree. No, well, thank you. Guys, look. I don't know what's going on in the red pill world and the manosphere right now, but whatever it is, man, there's like a shift, there's a change happening, and I don't know what dudes are on, man. It's just straight, like it's a straight push for hedonism. Dudes are saying one thing and doing the exact opposite. Dudes are saying like, we need to make women great again. We need to save Western society, and at the same time, they're taking action and doing things which are leading to the absolute destruction of Western society. And let's just be real, man. Let's just be real. It's not a threat. It's not hostile. It's not like, passive aggressive. When I say Islam is going to solve your problems, it's going to solve the problems of feminism. It's going to solve the problems of red pill. Because if you guys keep going down the path of feminism and down the path of red pill, it's just a matter of time that Islam eclipses both. Because we're the only ones out knocking out babies. I got 8 kids. I got 8 personal kids. Mine. Not cuckolded kids. 8. And I'm not like an exception amongst the Muslims. I'm not an exception. Where you'll find one man I know a guy with like 11 kids. I know a guy in Qatar 14 kids. I know a guy in Qatar 11 kids. I'm not an exception. I'm the norm. So if you want to save your societies, you want to save your ways, you want to save your way of life, these guys ain't it, man. Because they're calling you to a way of life which is not mango to break the fast. Because they're breaking the fast really soon. Because your way of life is under threat and it's under danger. And it's not from the Muslims. It's not from it's from the feminists. And unfortunately, it's from guys in the manosphere telling you to go out and bang your neighbor's wife. It's just, it is what it is. Hey, baby. So, guys, if you want if you want to save your society, you want to save your family, you want to save whatever else, you don't want your kids to grow up in a world where he's got to worry about being cuckolded by whatever else, or his neighbor banging your kids. You know what? Keep away from them feminists and keep away from them red pill dudes. Learn masculinity from them, and then back away. Back away, like these guys should be doing with Jack. They should be backing away from Jack. But you know, it is what it is. Ronan Khan says, "I'd rather become Muslim than follow these cooks." Hey, Ronan, ahlan wa sahlan. You're most welcome. We're always taking newcomers, man. A lot of things I've done in my life I've regretted a whole lot. Like I was saying, dudes gotta own their stuff. I owned my stuff, but one mistake or one thing that wasn't a mistake was becoming Muslim. I've never regretted it. There's not a single day that I've regretted becoming a Muslim. You know, I've never thought like, oh, darn it, man, if I only hadn't become Muslim, I could name unspecified thing. What, bang women? I can marry 4. And I ain't even gonna go through the legal process and get railed by the justice system. I can get Islamically married. Dude, you just win all around. You got a global network of homies. You can go to any country and say, Abuamerican, I'm going to UAE tomorrow. Hook me up. And I can literally like get on the line and say, who's got somebody in UAE? And we'll have people on the ground for you in any freaking country in the world. Ooh, look at that goodness, man. You got a global network of homies for business, connections, places to stay. It's just, man, it's a brotherhood, man. And it's completely haram, forbidden for dudes to bang a woman. Brother, what do you think of the Ibmore movement for us black Muslim men? I'm not really familiar with the Ibmore movement. Whatchamacallit? Guy King, he was dealing with that for a minute. I'd suggest talk to Guy King about that. I'm not sure if he still posts content or not, or if he's still available for contact, but Guy King's more involved in that stuff. I'm not sure what Guy King's knowledge is on Islam, but I'm not really into the whole Ibmore thing. I stay out of the whole black manosphere because, I mean, believe it or not, my mom's Indian. You know, my ex is white. I just don't fit in there, man. I've got like, I got a Mandarin Chinese nephew. My girl is Indonesian. Race isn't really something I was raised with. My grandfather is 100% white. My grandfather. So I mean, I never really got into the whole ethnicity race thing because I wasn't raised with it. So it was never really something that interested me because it's not something that my family really got involved with because we are a very, very, very ethnically diverse family. So I can't really talk on it, man. I really don't know. I wish I could help you on that one, bro. So, before I go, let's do this. As a closing to the video, hit the road, Jack. The road, Jack. And don't you turn back no more, no more, no more, no more. What you say? Alright, guys, this is your man, Abuamerican. You can catch me on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, all at Abuamerican. Don't forget to hit like and subscribe. I'm out.